Somewhere to be every night of the week. Seems God ain't close as he used to be. And there's more tequila in this old town than pines in Tennessee. I ain't the man I thought I'd be. And these neon lights that keep me up got me thinking maybe mom and dad had it right all along. We're too old to still be alone, and we ain't happy ever after all. I'm just saying it wouldn't be as bad as we made it out, living in our hometown. Mississippi, you find a girl and get married before you're 20. But I've been running like a southbound train, as fast as a northern summer with no one to love. And it's making me wonder if maybe mom and dad had it right all along, and we're too old to still be alone, and we ain't happy ever after all. No, I'm just saying it wouldn't be as bad as we made it out, living in our hometown. Said if you got whiskey, don't overdrink it. If you find love, don't overthink it. Just find yourself a good one, and don't you let it go. That's what they told. Maybe mom and dad had it right all along, and we're too old to still be alone, and we ain't happy ever after all. No, I'm just saying it wouldn't be as bad as we made it out, staying in our hometown. Yeah.
I didn't want to leave you guys just hanging in the lurch because they are delayed. And to let you guys know, I'm not sick. I just have vocal cord problems, so I'm just trying to rest them for tonight. So they have not, as of yet, they haven't brought it up on the main feed. I don't see anything on the White House feed. Don't see anything on C-SPAN feed. So everybody is in the same predicament at this point. We're all just waiting for the feed to come on. Just checking another feed. Nope. Everybody is in wait mode. Here, let me show you this. This is from the actual White House feed, and nothing yet. So everybody is waiting. That's my White House feed. And then, of course, this is the actual feed I get from my service. So at this point, everybody is just in waiting mode. And by now, they should have already eaten. I don't know. It's been a while. Not sure what they're doing. I do have, I don't know if you guys saw me, what I posted on X earlier. I've got 2 videos I can show you. They're two short videos. Each of these are probably 2 or 3 minutes, and it was the pre excuse me, the pre-diner, I guess, when they first got introduced. So let me clear the screen and put these on so you guys just aren't sitting here listen to me mumble through a sore throat. Not a sore throat. I don't have any sore throat. I just can't talk. I talk too damn much. So that's what it is. Excuse me. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. We're all waiting. If other people come in and go, what the heck is this stuff that we're seeing on the screen? Let them know. We're just waiting for everybody to come on. At the minute they turn the camera on, I will immediately come back on, but check this out.
Doors closed. Are you shut? Face. One.
Made a great speech. I was very jealous. Thank you very much.
All right, so that's when they first showed up at the White House to get into the White House. The next cut I have for you, when they had the cameras on, this is actually them coming down from the residence into where they're going to be dining tonight. So check this out. All right, so the feed is now up. Perfect timing, absolutely perfect timing. So let me go ahead and switch to the feed, and here we go. I'm going to do a little bit of talking right now because you guys may not realize it, but that song that they were playing is a Beatles song. And the Beatles are one of, well, the remain, whoever owns the catalog, I don't know if it's Michael Jackson's people, but if they hear you playing Beatles music in the background, the guys here are extremely, extremely, I don't know, aggressive and coming after you for Beatles music. So I figured I'd talk to you right now and use my voice to let you know what's going on. So here's Steve Witkoff right there. So I guess he's not in Iran doing any negotiations. Hey, there's Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh. Interesting. Interesting. Justice Kavanaugh is at a White House event. Very interesting. Let's see who else we might notice come walking by. I saw Sean Duffy earlier walking. I see Jameson over at that table, Jameson from the Commerce Department. So what other dignitaries are wandering in and out? Here comes Steve Witkoff again, sitting at that table. It was interesting. Somebody said, hey, I hope they get to eat this time. I'm pretty sure they're going to be safe here. They are actually in the White House. They're not at a different venue. So everything should be locked down and tight here at this venue. I don't think we have much to worry about that kind of stuff happening here. When I'm using the live feed like this, they zoom in. There's Scott Bessent. They zoom in. Jared Kushner, Pete Hegseth. They zoom in. They try to get their focus correct because that's where President Trump and probably King Charles, excuse me, are going to be standing. And so they just get their focus. The White House, this is my direct feed that I subscribe to. And then, of course, there's a White House, which has their own feed. They haven't even turned on the cameras yet. So there's still probably some time before they do it. As I said, there's Scott Bessent. That's Jared Kushner right there. I wonder if that means Ivanka is there. Wait a minute, they're blinking the lights. If you blink the lights, that means he's getting ready to come in. Either that or somebody leaned up on it, but that's probably getting ready for President Trump to come in. Let me put some volume on and see if they're done playing Beatles songs. Yeah, they are. Good. But they're not ready. Somebody just blinked the lights. Maybe it's a 2-minute warning. Looking to see who else in the cabinet you guys might see. Looking around. You guys see anybody else? As of course I said, there's Pete Hegseth. I don't know if you guys noticed, if you're on X, Susie Wiles, interestingly, opened up a X account today. And she's now tweeting. I wonder if that's because Caroline Levitt is about to go on vacation. But she did open up her own account today as well. Very interesting. You guys should check that out. Who are we zooming in on here? He zoomed in too far. Yes, we know that's Pete Hegseth. Jared talking to Scott Bessent. Don't know the other people. Don't know who that woman is right there. She must be from England. She has on different kind of medallions. So she's probably from England. This is pretty cool. They're all getting seated and getting ready for dinner. And you guys enjoy. So I hope you guys, excuse me, enjoyed this afternoon. A bunch of people I know weren't too fond of King Charles. I know I was trying to watch it with an open mind. And then he had to go ahead and make that stupid comment about Ukraine. Very stupid. So while they're doing this, I'm going to turn this back on. I'll see if I can find you guys some news to look at. I don't think SB is here tonight. I didn't give him a heads up, so he might have went to go play pickleball or something. Because I wasn't going to go live because me personally, that's Tim Cook from Apple that is shaking Scott Bessent's hand. Scott Bessent and Jared Kushner. That's Tim Cook, who just recently retired or gave up his head position at Apple, but he still obviously runs Apple. Let me see if I see anybody else running around. Let's see who's that. There's John Thune. John Thune just walked in with his wife and to sit down. I don't know why you even let John Thune in a building. Got to get the Save America Act passed ASAP. There's Doug Burgum heading towards the front, or actually just took a beeline across. I'm looking to see anybody else. Nope, don't see anybody else. President Trump should be coming soon. I'm sorry that these people take so long. They say a certain time. It is now 8:38. This was supposed to start at 8 o'clock. Go figure. I guess you can't rush President Trump. He'll come when he feels like it. Let's see what Metallica. That would be pretty cool if they started pumping some Metallica into the room. I wonder if I'm looking for my boy Howard Lutnick. Don't see him yet, but thank you. I was walking the dogs, so I put this on. But any minute or so, he should be coming up. And in the interim, if I can find some other newsworthy stuff, I'll pop back in. But let's go ahead and just take a listen to what they're doing.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and First Lady Melania Trump, accompanied by their Majesties, King Charles III and Queen Camilla.
Thank you very much, please. This is a great honor, and we welcome Their Majesties King Charles III and Queen Camilla of the United Kingdom to the White House. Very special place, very, very special. And I also want to, before we really begin, I want to congratulate Charles on having made a fantastic speech today at Congress. He got the Democrats to stand. I've never been able to do that. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. They liked him more than they've ever liked any Republican or Democrat, actually. So I just want to thank you and congratulations. It's not an easy thing to do. That's a tough place. It's a true privilege to have you here for this historic state visit. Last fall, Melania and I had the pleasure of visiting Their Majesties at Windsor Castle, a structure that's so beautiful and so long that it never seemed to end. I looked down as a former real estate person, and it just went on forever. And it was built by a gentleman named William the Conqueror in the year 1070. And I asked the king, I said, was he a nice man, William the Conqueror? He said, I tend to doubt it. I don't think so. When they call you William the Conqueror, generally speaking, you're not going to be too nice, but he must have been something, because it was nothing like I've ever seen Windsor Castle. But tonight, in return, we are really doing something that's very special, preparing to celebrate the 250th anniversary of our Declaration of Independence. A big time in our country, very big time. And it's only natural that Americans begin this commemoration by paying tribute to the transcendent bond we share with the nation that Thomas Jefferson himself called our mother country. He used to go around saying, "That's our mother country." How nice. From English towns and Scottish hills, from Welsh mountains and Irish villages, a people unique in history sailed across the mighty Atlantic to settle and civilize this continent in the name of God, King, and country. So beautiful. They called it New England and meant that very, very literally. The first Americans saw themselves as free men carrying the forward and central liberties and ancient rights of the Anglo-Saxons into this new and beautiful world. Declaration of Independence was a miracle for the ages that sparked a far-reaching revolution in self-government and human freedom. But even though the political bonds between the United States and Great Britain were dissolved forever, they thought, on July 4th, 1776, the more powerful strands of memory, culture, and identity proved unbreakable in any conflict and grew into a friendship unlike any other on earth. A very, very special and incredible friendship. Historians have noted that to this day, the distinct regions of the United States still echo with the particular accents, habits, and traditions of the British communities that first settled them centuries ago. The names of half of the original American states refer to members of the British royal family, as do American cities from Charleston to Annapolis, Charlotte to Albany, and even the place where I grew up and actually loved very much, Queens, New York. Who would have thought? But far beyond names and principles, there's something unique and very special that has always united our two people, a certain nobility of spirit and heroic soul. The same audacity that called a small island kingdom to rule the seven seas, and rule them you did, inspired the children of 13 American colonies to explore a great frontier and a very, very dangerous frontier and settle what was known as the Wild, Wild West. The men who planted the American flag on the moon carried them. The same hunger for adventure and achievement as those who raised the Union Jack above Antarctica and first sailed St. George's Cross all around the globe. The American soldiers who crossed the Atlantic to freedom, rescue in 1944 were moved by the same keen sense of righteousness that drove the English Crusaders to the Holy Land 1,000 years ago. The entire world has been uplifted by this distinct and special character we share, this unstoppable daring, this unconquerable courage. It really is. It's unconquerable. And speaking of that, where's Rory McIlroy? Can stand up, Rory, will you please? That was unconquerable courage. That was very good, Rory. I don't know if that helps them talk about how wonderful the speech, but I had to interrupt my speech because I watched that man win a tournament. That was a tough one. Congratulations. Very proud of you. All right, now I'll get back to my speech, Rory, okay? But it was unconquerable courage, this inexhaustible supply of ambition, ingenuity, and resolve. From the trenches of World War I to the beaches of Normandy, from the frozen hills of Korea to the scorching sands of North Africa and the Middle East. And we're doing a little Middle East work right now, too, if you might know. And we're doing very well. We have militarily defeated that particular opponent. And we're never going to let that opponent ever, Charles agrees with me, even more than I do, we're never going to let that opponent have a nuclear weapon. They know that, and they've known it right now very powerfully. But our countries have stood together, defiant and triumphant against the forces of communism, fascism, and tyranny. Together we have expanded the reaches of human knowledge and endeavored always to make this world safer, more prosperous, more just, and more free. Ours is a treasured friendship, an eternal bond, and a true story of extraordinary heroism and skill. A lot of skill, tremendous skill. History has known no more powerful force than the combination of American patriotism and British pride. The British Empire that began here in America certainly did not end here. The sons and daughters of the British Isles went on to found more countries and spread more civilization than any nation before. They built an English-speaking world upon which the sun never sets and provided an example to which free people will always turn, that always turn. They have such love and such respect. Today, most of Britain's former colonies have no idea what they truly owe to this towering legacy of law, liberty, and British custom that they were given. We were given that, and it was a great, great gift. Tonight, on the eve of our 250th year of cherished independence, we turn to the sovereign embodiment of our British heritage and say sincerely thank you to our friends, the United Kingdom, for the richest inheritance that any nation has ever given to another. May our two countries stand together forever for liberty, for justice, and for the glory of God. Ladies and gentlemen, I offer a toast to 250 years of American freedom, and very importantly, to a great man, His Majesty, King Charles III. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, First Lady, my wife and I are most grateful to you for your generous hospitality as the United States celebrates this very special anniversary year of the Declaration of Independence. And may I also just start by paying tribute to your own courage and steadfastness, as well as to your security services, for their swift actions on Saturday evening in preventing further injury. My thoughts and sympathies are very much with you, the First Lady, and all those guests for whom this must have been a very upsetting incident. As the words of that famous anthem remind us, this is the land of the free and home of the brave, as your own response demonstrates. What used to be called in the last war in the United Kingdom, keep calm and carry on. I now realise, ladies and gentlemen, to my amazement, that my first visit to this remarkable country was over 50 years ago, and, Mr. President, the golden threads of history and heritage between our lands are also embodied, as you mentioned earlier today, in your own family and your own family story, whose roots trace back to the beautiful landscapes of Britain's Outer Hebrides and continue, as we know, in the great golf courses of the Highlands. I can only imagine the immense pride with which your own dear mother, indeed both your parents, must be looking down on the great office to which you have been elected for a historic second term. And if I may say so, it is a particular pleasure to be back in this wonderful building, the heart of your democracy. On this occasion, I cannot help noticing the readjustments to the East Wing, Mr. President, following your visit to Windsor Castle last year. And I'm sorry to say that we British, of course, made our own small attempt at real estate redevelopment of the White House in 1814. Anyway, I'm so glad we have an important opportunity at this critical time to renew those bonds of history and friendship between our nations and our peoples. 2.5 centuries ago, the United States of America was founded through an audacious and visionary act of self-determination. From the beginning, the American character has been defined by courage, tenacity, and the spirit of adventure. As the direct descendant of King George III, I know this is a nation that never gives up. And my family's history remains reflected in your maps, which read rather like our Christmas card list across the ages. North and South Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, and the cities of Charleston, a particular favorite of mine, obviously, Georgetown, and for that matter, Georgia, Annapolis, as you mentioned, and further favorites, Prince William County and Williamsburg. This said, our French friends can feel equally at home with a glance at a map. Indeed, you recently commented, Mr. President, that if it were not for the United States, European countries would be speaking German. Dare I say that if it wasn't for us, you'd be speaking French. Of course, we both love our French cousins greatly, and we three estates are not only bound by our shared values, but by a profound belief that together we are more than the sum of our parts. Out of the fires of a bitter and bloody Revolutionary War, the triumph of the father of this country, George Washington, and his fellow founders, was to forge a democracy founded upon the rights to liberty and the rule of law. The story of Britain and America is one of reconciliation, from adversaries to the closest of allies, not always perhaps following the straightest path. As you said yourself, Mr. President, during your own state visit at Windsor Castle last year, ours is an unbreakable bond of history and heritage, culture and commerce, industry and invention, and we are determined to face the future together. Tonight, we are here to renew an indispensable alliance which has long been a cornerstone of prosperity and security for both British and American citizens. Our people have fought and fallen together in defense of the values we cherish. Across the ocean and from coast to coast, we have traded, innovated, and created together. We've stood together through the best and worst of times. However, the challenges we now face, from those who wish us harm across the world to balancing the risks and opportunities of powerful new technologies, to the threats to the very international rules that have allowed us to trade and have kept power in balance for 80 years, those challenges encourage us to reaffirm tonight the basis on which our partnership has been built. And yes, we have had our moments of difficulty, even in more recent history. When my mother visited in 1957, not the least of her tasks was to help put the special back into our relationship after a crisis in the Middle East. Nearly 70 years on, it is hard to imagine anything like that happening today. But it is not hard to see how important the relationship remains in matters both seen and unseen. My mother's first Prime Minister, Sir Winston Churchill, understood this so well. But then he himself was half American, a tradition of shared transatlantic heritage which I am pleased to say is alive and well in the White House today. Indeed, such was the closeness that Sir Winston, while staying here in the White House, in those rooms you showed us upstairs, emerged naked from the bathtub to discover the door opening as President Roosevelt came in for a chat. With rapier wit, the President cast aside any embarrassment by declaring that the Prime Minister has nothing to conceal from the President of the United States. This warmth came after testing times between our leaders in the early 1940s. The kinship and friendship of many centuries provided great reassurance to my late grandfather, King George VI, as it did to my late mother. It means every bit as much to me. Of course, my late mother met no fewer than 13 serving presidents, thankfully all of them fully clothed. The first president I had the honor of meeting at the age of 10 in 1959 when he came to Balmoral was President Eisenhower, who had served as Supreme Commander of the Allied Expeditionary Forces during World War II at a most critical time in the darkest days of the 20th century. American leadership helped rebuild a shattered continent, playing a decisive role as a defender of freedom in Europe. We and I shall never forget that, not least as freedom is again under attack following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Today, our partnerships in NATO and AUKUS deepen our technological and military cooperation and ensure that together we can meet the challenges of an increasingly complex and contested world. And speaking of submarine alliances, there was one particular AUKUS predecessor, launched from a UK shipyard in 1944, that served for the majority of her life attached to the 4th Submarine Squadron in Australia, playing a critical role during the war in the Pacific. Her name? HMS Trump. So tonight, Mr. President, I am delighted to present to you, as a personal gift, the original bell which hung on the conning tower of your valiant namesake. May it stand as a testimony to our nation's shared history and shining future. And should you ever need to get hold of us, or just give us a ring. For 250 years, the ingenuity and imagination of the people of the United States have been an inspiration to the world. This land of opportunity has nourished some of humanity's greatest minds, from the industrial age to the space age. So many miracles of the modern world have been and still are invented in America. Indeed, we have followed the voyage of Artemis II, or Artemis II, as my family and I might like to call her, with close attention. Now, I know you have big plans for the moon, Mr. President, but I've actually checked the papers, and I rather suspect it is already part of the Commonwealth, I'm afraid. Ladies and gentlemen, on this week's visit, I look forward to meeting the people and communities of this dynamic country, including celebrating some of the work of my King's Trust, which it has been doing in these communities, helping give young people the chance to succeed across America in this year when we mark 50 years of the Trust. Can you believe it? Every year, millions of Britons journey to this remarkable country to experience its glorious national parks, soaring mountains and ancient forests. From the peaks of the Pacific Northwest to the rugged shores of the Atlantic, from the vast expanses of the West to the sweeping prairies and canyons, the natural beauty of this land is found in every corner. And in sport, in just a few weeks, the United States and Canada will be among those to welcome the world as hosts of the FIFA World Cup. So in one sense, Mr. President, as heads of state, we are joint hosts. We call this game, by the way, football, Mr. President. And I can only say, as the head of state of 5 competing countries, I will be watching the matches closely and with great enthusiasm. After all, we always like favourable odds. So this city, Washington, D.C., is the home of more Shakespeare folios than anywhere in the world. 82 copies are carefully preserved and shared at the Folger Library. And at this time, when the search for peace in the world is more critical than ever, I can only turn to Shakespeare's genius to remind us of the plea for peace spoken by the Duke of Burgundy at the conclusion of Henry V. My speech entreats that I may know why gentle peace should not bless us with her former qualities. Thank you, Mr. President and Mrs. Trump, for your splendid dinner this evening, which, may I say, is a very considerable improvement on the Boston Tea Party. So, whether your cup contains tea, wine, Scotch whisky, bourbon, or even cola, let us raise our glasses and voices as we toast the past, the present, and the future, thank you, of our 2 proud and allied nations. To the United States and the United Kingdom, God bless both our countries.
Thank you very much. Thank you. As you great job. That's so beautiful. That's
You know what's funny is you've always heard people talk about, what do you give somebody who has everything, who's got all the money in the world, who's got a beautiful wife, he has everything. And what just shook him was getting the bell from a ship called the HMS Trump. You know he can't wait to get his hands on it. The White House cut their feed, but they're still, on my feed, I still have a picture. And yes, it's bouncing all over the place. I don't know why they didn't fix their camera, but it's like being on a bad cruise ship right now. It's hard to watch, which is why they just zoomed out. I wonder if they're getting ready to cut. Yep, they cut. All right, so that is the event. That's what they're going to let us see tonight. Not going to be anything else, I doubt. But I'm glad you guys got to see it. I was able to save my voice and just get out here quick. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. I'm not sure what time. I'll post it on X. I'm getting ready to start up our newsletter in earnest so I can begin notifying people when we're going to be going live. And then, of course, as I mentioned, we're going to go to a set time real soon if President Trump ever gets his schedule, put together. But in any event, thank you guys for tuning in. Oh, wait, well, hold on. Let me check something because I know SV would be here and he would be telling me to make sure that you check your super chats to acknowledge anybody in here. Let me just make sure, because usually when I do these unhosted, but today was kind of hosted, so it's kind of. All right, here we go. Excuse me, got a couple here from Neo and Penny Quarter. Neo, okay. We got him? Yeah. Neo, you do so much for us. We want only to see you well. Thanks for posting and for all you do. We love you and all Fanfare team and family. Love you guys too. And I do mean that. Penny Corridor, what's up with Democrats standing and clapping for kings? King Charles, I thought they wanted no kings. They don't like kings. No, they want a king. They would have loved for Obama to have been a king. No, they would love for Kamala to be a king. They don't want Trump as a king. Just you have to keep remembering that. Trump is their number one enemy. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow.